All right, so here's part 2 of converting with the metric system. And as I told you before, we have it kilo, hecta, deca. And we got our base unit forms, disa, centa, milla. Okay? I still gave you the conversion. I already wrote it out for you. And this is where you're going to be doing a lot of conversion. So just like what you did on the prior couple of pages, this time you have to show me your work. And with your answer, you have to put the units. Okay? Conveniently, the unit's already written here for you. You just have to translate it down here. But you have to show me your work in order to receive full credit. If I don't see the work, you're not going to get the full credit. But I'll help you through the first one here. Just like what we've been doing, if you already understand how to do this, go ahead and move on. This one's a really good example of decimal points, so I'm going to help you with the first 2. After that, that's all you. Okay? So we have 2 kilometers, and we're 2 kilometers to meters. That's what we're trying to get to. So we are moving our decimal place from kilometers to meters. So that's 1, 2, 3. We're moving our imaginary decimal point. Right there's an imaginary decimal point right there. We're moving it over 3 places. 1, 2, 3. 0, 0. So our answer would be 2,000 meters. Okay? That's how easy it is to show your work. That's how easy it is to move it. Okay? I want to show you number 2 here because we have a decimal point. Okay, if you were getting confused on how to do it on the last worksheet, this one here, because we do have some decimals within here, you're getting confused, you can always go back after this video to correct yourself. Okay? But we have 4.2 grams and we're trying to go to milligrams. Okay? We have our decimal point. It's already there. There's no reason to put another one in there. There's a decimal point already. And we're trying to go from grams to milligrams. So we're grams to milligrams. So we're going to move the decimal point 1, 2, 3. Okay? Let me move this out of the way. Okay? So we're moving this 1, 2, 3. So our answer is going to be 4,200 milligrams. Okay? We went from something big to small, smaller to smaller. Okay? You have to show your work in order to receive the credit, and you have to have your answer plus your units. The unit answer is already there for you. So it wouldn't be, you just have to translate it over there, okay? All of these are not going to be very large numbers. Some of them will be really small. Some of them will be really big. Okay, we have centiliters, we got centimeters to millimeters, we got centiliters to liters, we got grams to milligrams, milliliters to liters. There's a whole bunch of these like this. But that is all you need to do with this page. Okay, flipping it over, we're going to be looking at different measurements of volume, temperature, and length. Now, if you took your notes, you notice that we have different types of units of measurement, as well as we have different tools to measure with. Okay? Sometimes you'll be given problems like this, where you're going to have to kind of look at it and determine what the spacing of the lines are. They're not going to be even every time. Okay? This is where I want to help you because it does get a little tricky, so I'm going to help you with this first one here. One thing that's not mentioned in the notes, and it's really good to you, like when we get practice, using a cylinder to read, we're going to read what's called the bottom of the meniscus. Okay, so what you should do is you should draw a line underneath the lowest part of the curve. That's what we call the meniscus, because cylinders, reading them in cylinders, they curve. And you'll see that when I show you a real example. But you just have to draw a line to where the bottom of the meniscus is. Okay? And this is where I said these lines, they change. Okay? If you look, we got 10 to 30, we got 20 to 30, then we got 20 to 25. So your answer is going to be different. Okay? In this case, I'll help you out. Conveniently, these lines are actually going up by 2 each time. So this big line here, this is 10, and then we have 20, and then 30. That's what those big lines are. It's just like when you read a ruler, nothing different. Okay? And then there's just lines in between that are actually going up by 2 each time. So it's 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22. The meniscus is actually hitting that 22 line. So our answer for the first one is 22 milliliters. Okay? That's all that is. Okay? You're going to do it again for here. I would recommend drawing a line to where the bottom of the meniscus is. That's what we call the line right there. All the way through. They get a little tricky the more you do it, and that's okay. I want you to try. Down here we have reading temperature. In science, we do use Celsius as our main unit for temperature, and we will see that very shortly with the lab that we're going to do when I return. Okay? But you'll be given a thermometer and you'll be reading it in Celsius. Okay? This is where we had confusion last time I did this, but this is where we're going to correct it early on. Okay? So we have our thermometer. You want to read the top of the line. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the meniscus. I'm just going to do it at the top there. Okay? 25, 20, 15. It is going up by 5 each time. So we got 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So this is 27 degrees Celsius. That is toasty. That's about, we're starting to hit the upper 80s on that point. That's kind of what our temperature has been in the early mornings, actually, lately. But that's what you're going to do. Some things you want to pay attention to is there's negative numbers. So as you increase, going closer to 0, the negative number is going to get smaller. The farther you are from 0 going down, the bigger that negative number is going to be. Okay, so just make sure you're paying attention to where that negative is located. Finally, on this back side here, we have a couple rulers. I know you've used rulers in the past, so this is your chance to prove me wrong. Okay, you have to do a double conversion here, by the way. I have given you a centimeter ruler, and you're converting it to millimeters. All you're doing is you're looking to where the arrow is pointing. In this case, the arrow is pointing here. Okay, so we have 4 centimeters here, and there's 4 little lines. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. This big line's 5. So this is 4.5 centimeters. But we do need to convert it to millimeters. So pull out my handy dandy table here again. Centimeters to meters to millimeters. Centimeters to millimeters. Move our decimal over 1. And we get, let's try this again, and we get 45 millimeters. Okay? That's all you're doing the back side. Front side, you're doing more conversion practice. Back side, you're reading some of these tools. And we'll get more in depth with them as we are doing a lab very shortly. We will actually have a lab where you're going to be looking at a lot of temperature differences. I'll be showing you lots of examples of volume using some graduated cylinders. And rulers, we will be using them with a lab beginning of the next unit. And we get to go play outside with some balls on that one. Okay? So that's easy conversion there. Okay? Final practice, the very end here, this is a fun one, is I have given you more conversion practice. Okay? And pretty much is you find the correct answer from one of these 3 columns. Okay? And then you're going to want to shade in the box with that matching color. Obviously, if the answer is white, you leave the box white, which we have like an answer right here. But you have to convert this number to match one of these. Only one of these is the correct answer. Okay? I highly recommend doing all of this first and then coloring the backside. Okay? That's that. Okay? More conversion practice. I would do this one last because it is more of a challenge compared to all your other ones, but I would do this one last. That's why it's the last one in your packet. Okay? I want you guys to work on this, and we can talk about answers when I return.